Hi, hey, Russ here. Welcome back to my shop. Today I want to talk about my hardware strategy. Yesterday I did a video on something else and I couldn't really fit this theme into that one. It just got to be too long. What was the one yesterday about? It was about this. Recognize this? Huh? No? Now? Recognize what this is? Well, if you don't, then you need to go back and watch my video from yesterday. Then you'll know. But the question you really should be asking is, why did I do this with 1/4 inch threaded hardware? Why didn't I use 5/16 or 8 or 10 millimeter? Why did I use what I did? Well, that's the theme of today's video. And we're going to be thinking outside the box here, and you'll see what I'm talking about as we go along. This is 1/4 inch by design, not by accident. Just like over here, I got all these knobs. I got some store-bought knobs here. And I have some shop-made knobs. But they all have one thing in common. They're all 1/4 20. So what I'm trying to tell you here is that I tried to cater to one size in my shop to the things I do. So when I do knobs, I try to cater to 1/4 20 when I can. When I make different parts and pieces, I try to cater to the 1/4 because I try to carry everything I can in 1/4 only. If trying to keep hardware, it can get expensive. It can get very difficult to try to find what you need if you're not very well organized about it. And it can be very time consuming if you have to make those stupid runs to the hardware store or to the big box store to find what you need, as well as expensive. And I'll talk about that more here in a moment, I'm sure. So the idea behind this is to cater to just one size. That way, if I need to have something, I know I have it in 1/4 inch. So when I do my 1/4 inch, I buy a lot of variety for that one size. I have a little bit of other sizes, but I don't really carry a lot. But when I go to my 1/4 inch, I'm going to have 3 different size carriage bolts, including a super long one that I can cut down if need be. I carry my regular, a couple 3 sizes of the hex. I also carry the hanger bolt in the 1/4 20. And I have T-nuts. And I also have these 2 specialty bolts in a long length. This one is a flathead Phillip, and this one is a round head Phillip and slot. And these are handy to have around too. For example, on this knob, I actually put the Phillip in it. And the reason I did that is so that when I put this into wherever I'm using it, I don't know where this is going to have to be. It depends on what I'm attaching. Sometimes I only screw it in this far. Sometimes I got to screw it all the way down. The beauty of this one is that when I'm using it, if I got to go a long way or come a long way to take it out, I just grab my drill, and it always has that Phillip in it. One of my drills does in the shop, and I just use that to spin this, either in or out. And so it makes it quick and easy, and then the rest of the way I just can then hand tighten it with just the knob. So it's handy to have a variety of type of hardware for doing all these different things. As far as other types of hardware you want, not only for the studs and the bolts and all that stuff, you want to try to keep a variety. I also try to keep a variety of the nuts. I carry regular nuts. I carry plastic nuts. I carry locking nuts. I carry the coupler. I do all this in the 1/4 inch 20. I don't have a lot of those things in the other sizes because, again, by doing it only in one size, it saves me a lot of money having to buy only one size. And I know I got it if I gear around that 1/4 20. So I also have brass inserts, 1/4 20, T-nuts, 1/4 20, set screws. They're 1/4 20 also. So I'm gearing up everything I do around this 1/4 20. And let me show you an example of what I'm talking about. You have to think outside the box sometimes to make the 1/4 20 work. Here's a good example. I'm making a widget. Doesn't matter what it is. And I'm going to use this bracket on that widget. And I need to fasten it down. Well, you look at the 2 holes in there and you go, yeah, what do I got that'll fit that? So what do? Yes, you go coffee jar diving. What a pain. Never any fun. You have maybe 20 jars you go through to try to find what you need. And maybe you do, maybe you don't. Or even worse, you take your part, you run down to the hardware store, to the big box store, and you make this fit. And then you go, well, I'm also going to need some washers. Oh, while I'm at it, I need some nuts. And what length do I need? Well, maybe I better get both those sizes. So what did you do? You end up spending a lot more money than what you need to do this silly little project. Well, when I see this, I'm thinking outside the box. And the first thing I look at is I say, how does that fit my 1/4-20 thing? Well, quite frankly, if I take this and I hold this up to that hole and I look at how much bigger it has to be, I could actually drill that out to a 1/4-20 and use 1/4-20 on this. That's thinking outside the box. I now made this fit my 1/4 thing. And what did I do? I saved a lot of time and money by not going to the darn store. I also saved a lot of time and aggravation by not going through this, because my 1/4-20 is all set up in my bin over there in my cabinet, and I have that part organized so I know what I've got. If anything starts to run low of any of these items, I buy them at that time, always in the 1/4-20. Sometimes I may buy other things in other sizes, but as a general rule, I'm hard-pressed to buy the same thing I have in 1/4-20 and do it for another size, unless I absolutely have to do something very special. It happens, but 99 times out of 100, this solves that problem. So I cater to that theme of 1/4-20 pretty much for most everything I do. Now that goes for doing my T-tracks, goes for when I'm doing jigs and I have to drill holes and put things, I cater to that 1/4-20. Just as a parting word here, when it comes to your 1/4-20, you're going to be doing it. You're also going to be at times wanting to tap into your wood and use wood, let's say, on your threads. So besides all this 1/4-20 hardware, I actually also have, I went out, and even though I have a master set, this is the tool for that, for my master set of taps and dies I've had for 30 years. It's a nice big set. But I went out and I bought this inexpensive set. It had the 1/4-20 and, several sizes underneath that. And what I did is I took the 1/4-20 out and the tool, and I put it together, and I tightened this down super tight, so I never take this apart. I used this 1/4-20. I took the T-handle, and I made it on one end so that it can come out. That way I can still use it by hand to tap into something if I want. Or if I want, I can take that off, take my drill, and tighten that in there. And now that thing turns true. Now if you take this and looked at it very closely, all drills have 3 jaws in them. The end of this bit is 4-sided. It doesn't fit very well in a 3-sided, and I've seen them do it, and yes, I've done it too. And it doesn't really work all that well in there, but it works, and that's what I've been doing. But I've since realized that if I just take a cheap one of these, I can do this, and even if you're going to switch it out, you make it so that you can do this, so that you can put that drill bit in here. It really is damn convenient. And so this is nice. So I keep one of these dedicated with a 1/4 inch in the dedicated drawer, so that if I have to tap out for a 1/4 inch, because that's what I'm doing, it's readily available. I don't have to think about going over and digging it out of my master kit. I just grab this. I also keep this bit. This bit, it matches this tap for drilling into wood. It's slightly smaller than what you would use on metal. This is the one I would use for wood. And so, and I keep these in the place in the drawer where it's dedicated there. So, you keep that in mind. You can go to whatever size you want. It doesn't have to be 1/4 inch. I do 1/4 inch because that's what I felt like works, and it has worked for me. But if you're in a place where you have to do metric and you do metric instead of imperial, you could do the same thing, doing it with 8mm, 10mm. You can do it with 5/16, 3/8. It doesn't matter. But I don't buy a whole lot of these other sizes per se. I just keep it bare minimum. But in 1/4 inch, I spare no expense. If I see in a catalog all of a sudden something specialized and it comes, you can get it in a quarter 20, I actually stop and look at it and say, is that something I want to add to my quarter 20 inventory? And a lot of times I buy it, and the beauty of this is that I only buy it in the quarter 20 because that's my specialty size. And so I cater to one size in the shop, and it really does help keep down my cost, my trips, and searching. Anyway, I want to thank you for stopping by the shop. If you have any comments about this or any suggestions or any things that you've done, I'd love to hear it. I always enjoy reading those. If you haven't subscribed, you might want to. And don't forget to like this video. I could use the help. And I really want to thank you for stopping by this time. And more importantly, please come back again next time, okay? We'll see you soon.